All right, welcome to today's recap. This is Tuesday, December 12th, and this is Christian from Hertz Tribeca Trade Group with your end of day recap. So, there was no recap last night. I apologize. I think a couple people asked me where was the video last night. We do a member only webinar on Mondays, and we talk about strategy. We go through a bunch of technicals and some of the positions that I'm long, and just kind of really just iron out some strategy for the week. And so if you're into something like that where it's kind of an open forum and you just want to kind of talk and go over some technicals and strategy, we were talking about how to take profit targets in option positions, at what percentage, how to let that last piece run, so on and so forth. So if you're interested in that, check out TribecaTradeGroup.com. Happy to provide anybody who's a serious trader with a couple day trial so they could check it out and see what's going on. Have a huge success rate once people try the trial. Because I think what we're doing is really a lot different. Just huge teamwork, first of all, the last week in the trading room. Everybody's trying to help each other find different trades and look for different ideas. So just great job, everybody in the trading room. Especially just really has kind of heated up the last couple weeks. All right, so just looking at oil, the API reports was out showing a nice drawdown. So maybe oil catches a bid. This is a pretty ugly candle today for oil. I am long a couple of energy plays that I'm long OIH and I'm long Oxy. And you hate these candles in the beginning of the day. You're like, oh yeah, oil is going to take that next leg higher. I was actually looking at Brent and watching Brent go higher. I think people were talking about the Brent WTI spread, and I think that's I wrote that down. BZ. Let's see how that finished on the day. Yeah, that also kind of tried to go higher and kind of failed for today. So just got the API numbers. We do have the crude numbers, Department of Energy numbers out tomorrow. So we'll see how that shapes up. Tomorrow is Fed Day. So kind of interesting what happened today. All the financials took off. It's fully priced in. We were kind of talking about this in the trading room because I honestly do not have a ton of positions on in the financials. We saw some really good BAC calls that were repeat call buyers. It's the same thing. Whenever BAC comes in, it seems to be the same traders who do it. What they do is kind of show you what the flow looks like. They generally we don't see a lot of big blocks. You kind of have to disregard these puts that go up, but right around like the 1,000 share quantity, 1,000 contract size. That's not it. You have to go a little bit deeper into the search. But this is generally what happens. They'll come in and they'll just go after one maturity or a couple different maturities just over and over and over for like 1,000 contracts, 2,000 contracts, 1,500 contracts, 1,200 contracts. It's just how they trade BAC. You can see it's the same exact maturity, just over and over, above the ask, swept. Just so once you start to see that in the beginning of the morning. Every once in a while, it's maybe just 2 or 3 orders, but sometimes it's like 8 or 9 orders. So, I think BAC was probably the stock that was, really caught the momentum early on today. Some of those call buyers kind of vanished in the afternoon, but also, so that's just what the pattern is for Bank of America. Citigroup, we see more blocks. This only ended up, I'm surprised, did we get a little sell-off at the end of the day? Yeah, a little bit of a move back right around 2 o'clock, but so quick move and then a quick move back. Again, I don't really know what's why financials are bid up so much before a Fed meeting. Again, it's fully priced in, and it's been that way for weeks that we get a Fed hike tomorrow. I think it was maybe more on the tax plan getting approved, just a guess why we start to see, things like the small caps, although the small caps did not outperform today. I'm looking, they were down 30 basis points. The Qs only down 10 basis points, but I think that was kind of one of the interesting things of the day was that some things kind of stalled. The Chinese internets were down decently today. We went over in last night's webinar the BABA chart because I am long. I got long BABA on the lows here. And I said in last night's webinar, I said it needs to get over the 50-day moving average. We were looking at this candle yesterday. I said it's basically a 50-50 shot. You really don't have a buy signal. You're basically just buying the dip. We don't have an MACD crossover. You don't have the short-term moving averages crossing over one another to the upside. So I said, really, it's a 50-50 shot. I think that Baba goes, I don't have a crystal ball. So, that's is what it is. It's a little bit higher probability when we have a nice buy signal. But so we kind of went lower, and I think you have to respect that in some areas of tech. You got a great bounce from the lows last week. So you have to take that for what it's worth. I have been taking profits, on some of those positions. I'm long some CRM as well. Excuse me. That doesn't look that bad. That one I think you could give it a little bit more time. But overall, some things just didn't look. They look like they kind of lost their momentum a couple days ago. This was Friday's bar where we tried to go higher and we failed. So it just could take a little while. And there's nothing wrong with taking a little bit of profits if you added, like we did in the trading room, kind of, right into the pain of it. And, so you've got nice profitable trades. Nothing wrong with taking a little bit of money off the table, locking it up, putting it away, and then playing with the balance and making sure that you're okay with that. And then also willing to tell yourself, hey, if it doesn't work out, maybe go lower, because we just don't know how much more of this rotation that we're going to get going forward. And again, I think it's wise to not just have tech positions. Like for example, SMH. This may take some more time. This got up to the 50-day and failed. This was Friday, kind of an inside day yesterday, and then underperforming, down 1% today. So I think you have to kind of respect that and say, it may take a little bit longer than the normal buy the dip and we're right back to new all-time highs. It just may take itself. So again, the reason why I mention this, because I know option traders, they like to go into like January and February positions. Just give it a little bit more time. Be patient. If you're in a January position, it's very difficult to be patient. So that's my spiel on tech. I don't think tech is dead. I just think it may take a little bit longer than you thought. This is IGV, the software ETF. It's kind of coming back into value. This actually looks pretty strong. Still, reclaim the 50-day moving average now in value. So pretty good looking. A couple of things that we did today. So that's just a little bit of the charts. We talked about the financials. I think a couple, XLF new 52-week high today. So if these things are going to run, there was a really big inflow to KIE yesterday. Look at the volume. This was a $95 million inflow. I checked my ETF flow spreadsheet every morning. Somebody went into the insurers, pretty big size, $95 million into this. One of the names that we've seen some really nice call buying is Berkshire, BRK. I'm no longer in this trade. I was actually talking about this name last night in the webinar, but just has been hanging above the short-term moving averages, and really strong day today, up 1.2% today. So that's that. I could talk about a couple other things technically, sectors that, I talked about Baba, the whole Chinese internet group, for the time being failed. Rallied up to the bottom of value and could not get back into value. Again, I think you have to honor that for now as not being able to climb back into value. This is the December value area on the daily chart. Same thing with biotech. Don't really know why that this group, they had some good news and bad news, I guess, out of that ASH conference. We talked about this in the trading room earlier today. It's can't get above the damn 50, the damn 50 moving day, 50-day moving average. Wait, for me, I want to see some confirmation. I want to see this get above basically 84. No reason to be in biotech in this ETF right now. It's chop. Unless you have that crystal ball and it's really giving you some good signals, I think from a technical aspect, it's not breaking down either. It's just really choppy. And look at the move. Like this is down 1.6% today. So it's not like the chop is like, down like 30 basis points or like 0.25%. No, it's down 1.7% today. So, you've got support down here, but why mess with it until it actually gives you a signal that it's back in an uptrend and there's some momentum to it? No momentum right now. All right, so let's start looking at a couple positive things. Tesla. Talked about this last night, right at the close. Retook the 200-day moving average. That's my signal. Went long Tesla. I don't usually like to initiate the swing trades in the beginning of the day, but I felt like I kind of missed it at the end of the day yesterday. So I put this trade on today. A couple other names where we saw call buying: IBM. I know IBM, I'm not a huge fan of this company, but it retook the 200-day moving average. If you're just, forget about the symbol and look at the chart, you've got your stop right here, right at the 200-day moving average and the top of value. So I like the setup here. I took a trade today in IBM. A couple other names that were really interesting in terms of I'll talk about a couple of the trades that I got out of. FCX, huge winner. We got into this trade for right around 30 cents, actually 28 cents. I took it off today for 80 cents today. And I rolled out a little bit. I just took a 5 lot, very small. But, just like we see hedge funds all the time take their profits and roll them out, this was a very short-term trade I was in. It was the 12/22 expiration. So I don't want to deal with something that short-term nature. Take my profits and rolled out a little bit. Again, playing with the house's money. Another one, VRX, another nice setup here. Look at this thing, up 6%. I added stock yesterday. Thing's up 6% today. So again, you kind of have to zoom out and look at this base that it's been making. Really nice setup, in my opinion. The cryptocurrencies, I've been long, right? We've been all over these equity names, but look at the candle today in Riot. I took my final profit target in Riot. I got in right around $7 in this name, and out at the 28 handle. So, kind of a toppy looking chart. There was call buying today, which gave it a little bit of momentum. But hey, if for no call buyers to really be in this thing the whole way, and now call buyers come in, like the fear of missing out call buyers, sometimes you could basically use the call buyers as a contrarian signal, and they're late, and they pushed it up today. So for now, it's that looks like a toppy looking candle to me. So I'm happy to not to be, how much more greedy can I possibly get here? I got in at $7, out at 28, and then I could reassess. If it goes higher, I could jump back into it, no problem. So many people are so scared of like they're going to miss something. If it comes back in and retests $20, that's $8 down. These things are really, really volatile. So as I said to members today, play with money that that is going to be much higher risk. These names are much more volatile than regular. I would say regular names. They're going purely on momentum at this point. Mara was another name that we saw call buying in. A lot of these names did not close on the highs. Overstock, I think also ended up closing lower into some resistance. Right at the top of resistance. A couple other trades, and then we'll end this video for the day. I talked about IBM, Citigroup. There was a nice call buyer. I think we already talked about the banks, but Citigroup had more calls in this one. A couple late day trades. First of all, Juniper and STX, two names in the same group. Call buyers right around midday today. So I thought that was interesting. Some traders made some money on Juniper today. Great job, again, in the room. GPOR, look at this trade right before the close. This is another energy name. They stuck this name. I love when these guys do this. Like in the last minute of the day, 7,000 contracts, $2.2 million trade right at the bell in GPOR. So keep this name on your watch list. It's a name underneath the 200-day moving average, but man, they put up a pretty big size trade right at the close in this one. Another spec name, Eyes, saw some call buying. Another biotech name. This name's above the 200-day moving average and ripping. $2 stock. So high. Like I said, if I didn't mention that, high speculation in this one. There's a couple other biotech names that saw some option activity, but most of it is short dated. For this week, so could be conference related. Could also just be because it's a monthly option expiration. Maybe people are actually getting out of names. Oh, one other name, EGOV. This was mentioned on the halftime show. Big winner. I was in this name and out of it. Why did I get out of it? Because it hit this VPOC. That's exactly, so we got into that trade for 30 cents. Another one I got out for 80 cents. So had some real nice winners. The FCX, yeah, I mean, I closed my last. That was the last target that I took today. So a couple really nice plays in the room. What other name that we put on? And I was going to shoot a video on this, but I was having some PC issues. EIX. Take a look at the support that this thing had. Look at the support on the weekly chart, bottom of value. We saw this in Celgene, right? When Celgene was falling like crazy. You had defined support versus Celgene. What did I do here? I sold put spreads, and this ended up being a beautiful winner in Celgene. Again, define support. Now, support isn't always going to hold, but at least you have a level that you're trading. And if it doesn't hold, you get out of. But EIX has this real nice support. I sold put spreads. That was my last trade of the day. I sold the January 70.65 put spread, so collecting premium of about $2 on a $5 wide call spread. Needs to be over 70 by January expiration. I think I got a little bit lucky with this one too. They said that it's up to 69.40 after hours. They said that this fire in LA, this is the utility that was, there was speculation whether or not they were going to be blamed for that LA fire. And they said after hours that it was, the fire was started by, I believe, a campfire instead. Illegal cooking. All right, so we'll see how that trade ends up tomorrow. Have a great night, everybody, and see you guys in the trading room.